didn't think I was gonna go for a moment. Whoop. Bye-bye, OBS. Whoop. Come on. Oh. Whoop. Oh my no. Why, nose? Why are you itchy when I start streaming? Okay. We're starting. We only got 4 more left, so charity it is. You're a tiny bit loud in my ear, game. Cove pushed himself from his feet from where he had bent down in the sand, stretching his back out and groaned softly. A tired breath slipped past his lips as he wiped his brow, looking over the shore. It looks great. I don't remember the voices for any of these, even though I don't do voices very well. You stood beside him, joining in the surveying of the sand that mostly seemed speckled beneath the midday sun. The two of you had been out on the beach since sunrise, cleaning up and down the beach, looking for various debris, and the work had paid off. Using your hand to shield your eyes from the blinding rays, you glanced across the way where the other volunteers from Orca were gathered. They were easily recognizable by the high-vis vests they wore. It looked, though, as everyone was wrapping up things for the day. Hanky panky, right on the face. Maybe. We'll see. Hi, Flamingo. How are you? It looked, though, as everyone was about ready to wrap things up for the day. I'm happy to see it in a better state. I'm exhausted. I'm glad it's over. You did great, Cove. Oop. It was pretty sad looking when we got here. The beach,
Well, if that's the case, it was rather foolish for you to
Thanks
venture
for the
here,
host,
wouldn't you
Kalo.
say?
I love that your email just looks like the eggplant, even though I know it has a face on it. Oh, my nose. The beaches of this town were
Well, if that's the case, it was rather foolish for you to venture here, wouldn't you say?
Thank you for the host, Flamingo. Daro. Ew, Chargers.
Well, if that's the case, it was rather foolish for you to venture here, wouldn't
Thank you for the
say?
host, Karo. We're practically your own personal backyard, and you visit them a lot, and it felt good knowing that you were able to help take care of them. Hi, Karo. I kind of waited until the end of the conversation kind of died a little. Howdy. No hanky panky. I can't promise anything. We're getting very close to the end, and there's only 4 more stories left. Too bad. Not everyone sees the joy in putting trash where it belongs. Oh well. All the hanky panky. What's up with Stream Elements, chat? Cove placed a hand on his hips. A pleasant grin pulled at the corners of his mouth as he admired the work you both done. You begin to realize during your time volunteering for the organization how serious Cove took his service. It was easy to see that it was something important to him. Suck him dry. All the emotes. Oh no. You felt equally invested, and it always gave your best efforts. You enjoyed the work, but it was mostly wanting to have a good time. Miranda was right. You volunteering made a good preference. You didn't want to be there, and you didn't know how to turn it down. Lol. What is that emo? Why is that nose? Is that from Kenji, the monkey boy? It was important that the ocean you grew up in was protected, and what the fuck are these emotes? Is that a zombie and a girl? What the fuck? It had been always the biggest part of your life, and you felt that at least you could do was give it back to it in some way. Oof. Hey, nice work, Sophia. Thanks. It's been a good year so far. It's crazy to think it's always time to push. It's already time to push the big event. You let out a big breath thinking about the formal dinners that Orca had organized every year. Being a complete fundraiser-focused event for large donors, it was crucial for the organization projects in the year to come. You had to be over 18 to attend, so this was your first opportunity to see it in person. All you heard about it so far was that it was a prim and proper occasion, with speeches and everything. You didn't know what else to expect as you weren't part of the group who planned the evening. Before the big night came around, the volunteers would have to sell tickets for it, and that's where you would be helping. I'm so excited to go. I'm nervous about the event. I don't even want to go. I'm curious about that night. Or you shrugged. I'm bringing this bitch with me. You rocked back and forth on the balls of your feet as you thought the grits and glam of the evening. Big night? What? Cove nodded. Something about his smile seemed strange. I'm glad you are.
I mean...
I don't feel excited about attending a super formal meal with the proper etiquette and stuff, you know? He threw his arms out to the side, making a big show of how ridiculous it seemed to him. I was gonna stream earlier, but one of the streamers that I followed was playing Life is Strange. Karo, you missed so much. And from what I saw, I got sand all over my room and only one nice dress shirt. So I go barefoot pretty much wherever I can, and I'm going to be so out of place. Right, I bet you'd rather stay out here. I don't want to worry about manners. You can make it work for one night. Doing something fancy could be fun. Yep, you've definitely seen out of place, or you didn't say anything. How often do we get a chance to dress up nice, eat expensive meals? Like getting on with the plot, what can I say? But you missed a lot of the plot too. You just flew through the entire thing to get it done. Ko chuckled and shook his head at amusement. A small beep noise came from Ko's hand's pocket, and he pulled out and glanced. I almost said gleam. Haven't you don't have a lot for this guy. He can't dress up nice and fancy for a night. I know. No fight. What a bitch. Leave my boy alone.
Huh?
It's the organizer. Moving on. They sent a text to the group. Time to call it a day here. All right. Ready to head to our next activity? Cub took his cell away eagerly, turning to you. Haven't you done a lot for this guy? You can't. Yeah. Okay. I was like, oh no. Let's hover and drop off the trash bags off at the truck, and then we can drive back and join the ticket team. We gotta be there pretty soon to relieve them. With the stretch of the shore this long, a plan was to switch with the other team who had been pushing the tickets for the fundraiser dinner halfway through, though. It would be a full day of work, but it was Orca's largest event of the year, and all hands were on deck to make sure it was a success. We had always got the baby man. Leave my boy alone. You raise your hand for a high five. You nudge your shoulder against Cove. You started pushing Cove on the back to move forward. You ran off, or you started to walk. This is why I don't date men. I'm going to let that thought pass through my head and go away. He chuckled and nudged you back playfully with his now free hand. You collected the trash bags spread along the way together, heading across the beach and hoisting them into the truck before heading off to the next job. Yeah, you totally probably would do that if you looked your way. Your jailmate. I take animatronics because we can change their coat. Kayla's over there like, oh, I can change them. Cove slipped his warm hand into yours and entwined your fingers, strolling it back to the car side by side. In parts. The drive back to your neighborhood, making your way to the shopping street, was fairly quick, though Cove stressed a little bit about being late. In parts. My gosh. Luckily, he was able to find a parking spot nice and close to where you needed to be. You jumped out of the car and quickly went over to where you knew the group would be. Oh my god. Finally reaching the stall that was set up to sell tickets, you stopped for a moment to catch your breath. It was quite a flurry of activity. Maybe I'll have to learn code. You do that. I'm on the pill, and it's making me horny. It would be... It would be your job for the rest of the afternoon to help sell tickets for the fundraiser dinner. And looking around the street, you saw that there were plenty potential buyers out today. She's on! I'm on! Now we need a pill emo to show that we're horny. Petition to eat the cookie, I say aye. Flamingo! Leave me alone! I'm slowly making my other model. That would hopefully help to move the tickets along. The stall itself was simple. A portable table with a few plush sea animals as decoration and banner that stuck across the front. Poor Wolfie, but sneak. There were two volunteers who were already packing up and getting ready to head off to the beach. They gave you both a friendly smile as you arrived. Hey, Cove. Hey, Sophia. How's it going at the beach?
Not bad.
It was good. The place is looking great. We're lucky the two of you... We get 2 for 1 when it comes to you guys. Cove cleared his throat awkwardly from being from beside you, and you noticed his cheeks flush pink. Here we go again. You laughed it off. That's right, that's us. You felt your cheeks getting hotter. The teasing you rubbed you the wrong way, or you shrugged it off. We're joined at the hip, some say. The volunteers chuckled, packing up the last of their stuff, and Cove seemed to relax a little more. The volunteers made room for you and Cove behind the table while they circled around to the front of it. Thank you for coming in for the ship. We better make this quick so we can head off to the next place. No problem. Do you need anything? Do you need us? What do you need us to do? We're ready for whatever you need. One volunteer hands you a clipboard with all the details needed to sell tickets, while the other one tosses a set of keys to Cove, which he caught with ease. Those are for the money box and supply kit. Make sure to keep them on you at all times. Aside from handling the cash for the tickets, there's also a form on the clipboard that guests have to fill out in their info. Okay. That way we know how many tickets we have sold and who will be attending the event. There's a small script beneath if you get stuck on what to say and what it's about. Pretty simple, huh?
Uh-huh.
I can never do anything like this. I am absolutely terrible at trying to talk to people and like trying to sell things, like retail. I tried doing it. I worked at a tea shop. I thought I would be making drinks. No, I was selling and trying to get people into the store to buy things, and it was not working out. Apparently, one day, the manager, it was so bad, the manager wanted to send me home. Ah! I think we got this. Satisfied you knew what you were doing, the volunteers said that their goodbyes and started to walk away, leaving you and Cove to manage this all alone. The keys jingled in his hand as Cove waved them off. before stuffing them into his pocket of his pants for safekeeping. Bye, have fun. Get the fuck out of here, bitches. Once the volunteers were out of sight, Ko dropped down into his chair behind the counter with a sigh. We made it here in time. It's cool that we traded places with nothing happening. They might be late getting to cleaning duty. He leaned back in his seat, getting fully comfortable in the space, giving you a small smile. You took the other seat, or you stayed standing? Why the fuck would I stay standing? I have an 80-year-old back. Let me sit. It was a simple plastic chair that squeaked when you sat on it, and it gave you a good view of the street. We got things under control. I'm so stressed about getting here. Things could still go wrong. I'm glad this work lets us at least rest in one place. You rubbed your eyes tiredly, or you returned the smile. I would curl up in this chair and go to bed. Let's just say I'm not awkward. Look at how well we did with cleaning up the beach. I'm sure that this will be a piece of cake. Cake. I had cake downstairs. Cove grinned wider, his gaze pleased as he smiled at you. I like the way you think. Yes, cake. Cove rummaged around the station a little, picking up a stuffed toy orca. I want the stuffed animal. And holding it up in front of his face. You had to admit it was pretty cute. It had a big bulging eyes and oversized flippers. Ooh, I want it. Setting it back down on the top of the table, Cove moved on to check out the rest of the stall, finding a cooler stashed beneath the table. He pulled it out, opening the lid and see what it was filled with. Half melted ice cubes and half a dozen water bottles. Bottles of water. Ooh, speaking of which, I got water. I remembered to refill. Grabbing one of the plastic bottles, he unscrewed the cap and took a long drink. And you watched as the condensation ran along the side onto his fingers. And it decided to be a butt. Hello. Oop, wrong thing.
So?
Do you want one? Cove set the water on his side of the table before pulling out another and holding it out to you. Okay. You accepted the water bottle, or I brought my own, thanks. I'm not thirsty. Thanks. After opening it, you took a drink and letting out a satisfied sigh. You hadn't realized how thirsty you had been, and it was good to stay hydrated. Hydration! The two of you had gotten settled in easily, and you took the chance to look over the paperwork on the clipboard. Cove joined you, leaning over the shoulder to get a better look. It seems like pretty standard stuff. He murmured, and you nodded quietly. It was general info about the event and the work that you needed to do at the stall, as well as the amount of tickets sold thus far and the number remaining. How did I get dog fur on my mic? Cove tapped his finger on the counter as he read quietly over the notes, muttering a few things now and then you didn't fully hear. I know, I have to get to the event. Give me a moment. You seemed content there, and you were sure that the afternoon would pass by quickly. He glanced out towards the crowd and made a small sound, and you followed the line of sight to see the potential supporters on their way over to the booth. You psyched yourself up. You were feeling anxious. It was time to do customer service. Fuck that. You tried to relax for a bit. This was going to be a pain. You quietly continued over your papers. Sure. This could be your first sale of the day. You had to give it all to make the event a success. Here. Hi, how are you doing today? Fuck, I fucked it up. I was trying to do my McDonald's. As time passed, you two manned the stall. As people approach, your sales pitch would have been asking for a ticket or two or heading off. I actually have no idea if this is the Hanky Panky. Karo is in the back yelling, Wolfie. She's being weird again. We just let her be, Flamingo. There's nothing we can do. No, you being heading off, mentoring, maybe next time. All in all, you managed to sell a decent amount of tickets, and you could tell that Cove was happy with the outcome. As the afternoon drifted along, 6 p.m. arrived, time to pack up everything and head home for the evening. Your work at Orca was far from over, but right now there was only one thing left to do, was focus on attending the actual event. Alright, now we can start attending. The days continued on in a normal flow. Before long, the night of the Orca fundraiser dinner was upon you. It was early in the evening, and you were in your room getting ready as the minutes ticked closer and closer to the time that you needed to leave. Hope for the best. Well, I hope for the best, because I hear you from... Okay. You want some privacy, so you locked yourself away in your, away on your own. Lizzie helped you pick out an outfit. Cove was on speakerphone. Lizzie was helping you get ready while Cove was on the speakerphone. I guess. You were currently in the midst of picking an outfit which Lizzie was helping you with, and Cove was giving his inputs from the phone. I'm terrible at giving people fashion advice or whatever. I have my brother for that. Of course, Cove couldn't see any of the items, and you and Lizzie were choosing between. He was trying to help all the same. The event had strict guidelines, and you wouldn't be let in unless you were dressed to code. That meant having to try to find a truly professional outfit, but one that you could be happy with. You were happy to have a chance to dress fancy, you wanted to be practical about it, or you weren't happy having to dress up. I like dressing up. even though I don't do it a lot. There were a couple outfits that didn't get nearly as much use as you would have liked, and now there was time to let them show. Hypothetical speaking, when we get Hinky Panky, what is Carolyn gonna do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. She is halfway across the world and she can't hurt me or my boy. Ha! Ha ha. It's her. Are you sure? Oh, I read that one. You smiled as you picked your way through the items, and your excitement was shining bright.
It's fine.
You don't need to get too into your head thinking about the look. You just need to hurry up and pick something. At this rate, you're going to have a better time picking out your outfit than the party itself. But whatever you go with, it'll be great. King Karo. Oh, aren't you helpful, Liz? Don't push me, Liz. Thank you for talking me through it, Cove. I never thought I'd see the day where Cove Pelton would encourage me to wear something formal. You laughed a little, or you shook your head. Internet is rough, so I'm gonna say goodbye. Have a nice dream. Bye, TG. Thanks for coming out. I know you watch the VOD later, so bye-bye. No leaving. I don't know. A quiet chuckle came from your phone and you smiled at the sound. Yeah, this is really a once-in-a-lifetime event. You're gonna let go of her. He can't do nothing. He is on the other side of the state, so. Huh. And he can't drive. Ha. Ha. That is a small diss. Taking a deep breath to refocus yourself, you looked over the options one last time and you decided an outfit and quick. You choose a dress, you choose a button-down shirt and pants, you choose a blouse and pants, you choose the button-down shirt with a skirt, or you chose a blouse with a skirt. Dress! Aria lost. All I can do is let it happen. Put it behind us. It's... Lizzie nodded in approval, clasping her hands together, satisfied. Finally, we're making some progress. That sounds like it would be totally fine. Screw Zeke. Good choice. I'm wearing just a shirt with buttons and slack, personally. Standing in front of your mirror, you quickly assessed your outfit. You thought about adding an accessory or two, or you liked your outfit how it was. Accessories! I needed to add something a little extra to finish it all off. You rummaged through the rest of your wardrobe and you picked out what you needed to complete your outfit. So we got a necklace, bracelet, watch, belt, ring, pair of earrings, anklet, a hat, a button-down vest, a tie, or a shawl. Anklet. You had to quickly remove your shoes, slip on an anklet, and step back into them again. Necklace? Turn back to the mirror and you let Lizzie drape your best necklace around your neck and you clasp it together in the back. Someone, I think I saw this one thing where they're like pointed out which jewelry you should pair with things. Like you shouldn't wear every single thing. Definitely earrings, though. Okay. You hurriedly put a pair.
A true gentleman leaves no puzzle unsolved.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the follow. Oh, it's been a while since I heard that. But welcome to the Shadow Realm. Hope you stay a while. Oh god, that's so awkward. You hurriedly put on a pair of earrings to match your outfit, aware that time was running short. Okay. A shawl because I get cold so fucking easily. Just in case it got cold during the evening, you needed a shawl to drape over your shoulder. Ow! My nose, itchy nose. Why am I thinking about this? So we're not even going to be able to see any of it. Yeah, and it keeps you warm, so practical. You slip the bracelet around your wrist, making sure it sits there properly. I lose bracelets so much. We're just gonna say that's it. And with that, you applied makeup, you asked Lizzie if she can put on makeup for you, you're ready to go. Ask Lizzie. I actually really don't like putting on makeup myself. I asked Trash Chan to do it half the time, and then my mom does it the other half. Imagination. Leaning it up in front of the mirror again, you spoke over your shoulder. Do you think you can help me with some makeup for tonight? Absolutely. I'm going to show you everything I know, and you're welcome for that. Thank you. With that, Lizzie really got into gear. She would... can't speak. She worked definitely to apply all the details without holding you up too long. Wolfie bad at makeup confirming exposed. Yeah. I avoided makeup for pretty much my whole life. Unless it was like special occasions. Holding you up too long while keeping you informed on what's happening on your face.
Oh?
You're really going in all in, aren't you? Of course. Finally, you were dressed up and it all come together. Okay, I'm gonna change into my shirt and I'll be in the car. See you in a minute. When you looked at Lizzie again, she had a goofy smile pulled at her lips. You look very nice, Sophia. Thank you. You twisted around in your outfit excitedly. I do look good, don't I? And now you talk like our moms, or you blush and smiled at the compliment. Sure. You know that you had made the right decision with everything you had feel more confident. Lizzie wiped a pretend tear away with her fingers, sniffling dramatically. Oh, my precious Sophia, you really have all grown up, and it happened in a blink of an eye when I wasn't even looking. She chuckled at herself, nudging you towards the door.
All right.
Time to get downstairs. Your very official, though still kind of baby boyfriend awaits. Everyone just calls him a baby. You were carefully heading downstairs to the living room where your moms were waiting for your appearance. There you go, Flamingo. The mommies. As you entered, they both stood up from the couch and came over to you, smiling broadly. You look so wonderful, Sophia.
Nice.
And very mature, too.
Mm-hmm.
I know, right? They all continued the coo and fuss over you until you managed to brush them off. Ma took by the arm and you held it close. The two of you admired you proudly. See, baby man, leave him alone. Mommy punished me for Flamingo. There you go, from the chat. You enjoyed the tension, thank you. You sighed dramatically. I already got this from Liz, and you wondered why they were making such a big deal. Thank them. It felt a little strange to have everyone's attention on you, but you liked it nonetheless. Lizzie smiled at you from where you stood, her expression soft. Ma came and gave you one last hug before you knew it, another pair of arms was wrapped around you, and a third. Both Ma and Liz were giggling as they hugged you tight. Three of them could be a long night with Flamingo. We hope that you will have so much fun tonight.
Have fun.
We won't wait up for you. Stay out as long as you need. You're old enough now. With a wave goodbye, you left your family and approached the front of the door. It was time. Stepping out into the night, you closed the door behind you gently and looked across the street. Oh, look at my baby boyfriend. Cove was standing there in the street. His eyes met yours immediately as if he had been watching your house for the moment you would come out, and he smiled bashfully. Hi, Sophia. Hey, I hope you're ready to do this. You took a glance to check over his outfit as he walked across the way to meet you. It was formal for sure, though it didn't feel overly posh, and it made sense for him, and it was honestly a sight for sore eyes, and he was always beautiful to you. With a glowing smile, he stepped closer, his cheeks reddened all the way down to his neck. Baby man. Ow, fudge. Is that Pikachu? Come on. Come on.
Thank you.
For coming with me and dressing really nice for this. Your outfit, it's just perfect. What? No, Cove, you ruined the fun. Go away, the three bodies. His gaze traveled downward to take in your full form. And he leaned in only a few inches away from your face to whisper into your ear as his warm breath tickled your skin. I like the anklet bracelet. Yes! Your cheek went hot, and you bit down on the lip to keep it from smiling too much. Oh, I'm already smiling way too much. I ordered for you, or you kept your mouth shut. I promised I wear this anklet for you, didn't I? And this is a special night. Social distancing. This emote won't load. Oh, oh well. Ah, my eyes. He smiled at you softly, and the corner of his eyes crinkled as he brought up his face closer to the point where the tips of your nose were touching. Gotta hide, got food. Okay. Have a nice lurk. I believe the command works, but oh well.
Hi.
You're always too nice to me. According to Caleb, yes, we are. He raised a hand and lightly trailed his fingers down your side, his touch tinkling your skin as through the fabric of your dress. Perished. You started wondering if it was a good idea after all. Cove was acting like that was killing you, and you hadn't even started the trip to dinner yet. It took a great amount of effort to focus your thoughts and react to his overall assessment to your look. Thank you. You felt shy over it. You look amazing. Damn, Cove, you're so hot right now. You said flirtatiously, or you shrugged. Cove hung his head bright red in the embarrassment after that. He wrapped his arms around his torso bashfully as to try to protect himself from the outfit from further teasing. Come on, Sophia. You laughed at the reaction? I'm dying, my cheeks hurt. When he shook his head, glancing back towards the garage and throwing a thumb over his shoulder and spoke. We should probably get going. Wouldn't want to be late to such a grown-up event, right? Yeah, let's go. Still smiling. You headed over to Co's car together, hopping in, strapping in your seatbelt, and you were on your way. The event was held at a place that you'd never been before, and you brought up the location on your phone to help Co navigate there. Yeah, this wouldn't be me. I'm terrible at giving people directions. It took some time to find the right address, and once there, you were met with the task of finding a parking spot. Though you were on time, it seemed everyone else had already shown up and claimed spaces. Eventually, you found a suitable place before realizing it required payment. Cove covered the amount and taking the ticket from the machine, leaving it on the dashboard of the car. Hate paid parking. Despite the small holdup, you managed to ultimately make it to the event and confirm you were on the guest list before shown into the dining area. Oof. Oh. Hit it. Oh yeah. Look at the new space. I love the backgrounds in this. Cove whistled low as he looked around, taking in the extravagance of the room. Chandeliers hung from the ceiling, and the entire place was decked out with beautiful ocean displays. You were stunned yourself. It was extremely high class, and even more so than you had already expected. It's so nice. This is the best looking event I have been to. It's too frilly for me. It's so overdone. It could have been worse, or you didn't comment. Your lips parted with a wondrous smile as you took in the decorations, and the guests were all dressed to the nines. Co Cove met your eyes with a similar look on his face, and you got the impression that he felt the same way about it all. The sound of your names being called out echoed over the din in the room, and you looked around, recognizing a couple of organization leaders looking your way. They approached you both, giving you a welcome smile and a hello. Cove, Sophia. I'm really glad to see you can make it, especially after all the hard work. Wow. You done to make this happen tonight happen. Oh, wow. Definitely. I'm not gonna miss it. I wasn't gonna miss it. Hi. You said that like we have a choice, you joked. I wouldn't miss it either. Hello, I'm thrilled to make it. Or you gave a soft nod. This is our big night. Of course, we had to see what we were working towards. Well, thank you for being part of the team. You're our best power couple, that's for sure. You're always welcome to participate in more activities when they come up. Cove let out an awkward, breathy laugh, rubbing the back of his neck. Good to know. Cove, shrugged then, his eyes darting around the place with an awkward look.
So...
I'm guessing we should talk to more people. There isn't much to do in an event like this. You found your way to groups of people that were standing around chatting with some light music playing in the background. Servers with large silver trays were gliding between guests offering drinks and... I'm sorry. Canapes? What? Cove approached various people as you wounded your way through the guests. He managed to approach some new conversations as well. Okay. You were enjoying talking to so many different people, both guests and members of the organization alike, and you found yourself enjoying the company. The sound of the microphone crackling came from the podium on the other side of the room. Other end. Someone who you assumed must be the host for the event was asking everyone to sit down and participate in a meal and speeches. You and Cove looked for the table, and it was easy enough to find the little name cards that were placed delicately beside the napkins. A few others joined you at the table, though they weren't anyone you recognized. The host was still speaking as people were settling and starting off speeches by giving a welcome to everyone attending. She went on to provide some more information about Orca, which you were supposed for as guests who weren't part of the organization, and the purpose of the fundraiser tonight. Orca's goals, as she explained, there were to aid in conservation and restore of the ocean and beaches. There were many people who had helped to make the group successful as it was. When she read off the list of several volunteers who worked on making the event happen, Cove's name was the first to come up. His chest puffed out in pride at that. Your name came down a little further down the list, and you were smiling ear to ear at the mention. As she continued to thank the large donors for the event, you checked over at Cove. He was still grinning happily to himself, tapping the finger over the tops of the knee, pretty pleased with the mention having been mentioned by name. You laughed quietly at his reaction, you rolled your eyes, or you're excited for him, or you could relate to the feeling, or you were trying to focus on the speech. Sure. It felt good to be acknowledged for all the work you had done leading up to the event. You likely would keep smiling even without realizing. While the host continued speaking, multiple servers were dressed in black were setting the first course of the meal in front of guests. One of the servers set down a plate in front of you and you thanked them quietly before looking over the dish with interest. You recognize the dish as the simple Caesar salad. Great, now we just have to stab it multiple times. The host quickly wrapped up the end of her speech, thanking everyone once more before inviting you all to begin your meal. Anyone who had been included a special dietary note when signing up for the event received a vegan or vegetarian version. There was also a small basket of bread set around the table. You ate both salad and bread, or you ate just the salad, or you ate some bread, or you didn't eat any of it. Bread! I guess salad too. Cove whipped down his salad before munching on a breadstick, quickly devouring that as well. I hope the next part comes out soon and is bigger. You hear him mumbling to himself as he reached over for another piece of bread. He glanced around the table and you followed his line of sight, curiously noting that everyone else was still eating the salad. He stopped his hand mid-air and quickly pulled it back, resting on his lap without taking another breadstick after all. It was clear he was starting to feel unsure about himself, and he looked a little out of place. Now, he folded his arms, turning away from them to you. Hey, do you like the salad? It's really good. It's too small. It was alright. It was pretty bad. Oof. Or you simply shrugged. I can't wait to see what else they serve. His gaze remained purposely tunneled on you as he was trying not to even think about what the rest of the table might be doing. You gave Cove a pat on the hand, you made silly faces at the other guests while they weren't looking, you picked up a breadstick giving it to Cove, or you discreetly flipped off the other guest off. Oh wow. Or you sat there feeling uncomfortable yourself. Give the breadstick to the poor man. It's okay. Oh, thank you. Cove spoke gently as he took the bread from your hand, looking choked up by your reassurance. He munched away happily, seeming much more at ease. I gotta go. Mimis. Yeah, I'll probably end up finishing this one. I don't think I'll end up doing two. If I want to be up for Karo's stream later. It wasn't much longer until the main course arrived. Various chicken, steak, and veggie dishes were being served throughout the room. The array of scents wafted through the room, making your mouth water. You had chosen chicken, you have chosen steak, you went with the vegan meal, you went with the vegetarian meal. Steak! It was nice that you had been given an option how you liked your steak. It cooked with the meal on the plate in front of you seemed perfect for your taste. Cove gone for the steak, and once he started to dig in, he was completely absorbed by his meal. You're going to choke if you inhale your food like that. You kicked him under the table teasingly. You put a hand on his thigh under the table, or you flicked something at him while he was off guard, or you focused on your food. This boy's gonna choke. You couldn't resist a little teasing while he was distracted. Your arm reached forward out of the view of everyone else. I was waiting for you, Karo. Reach for it out of the view of everyone else, hidden by a heavy tablecloth. You let your fingers lay to rest on the center of his nearest thigh. Cove stopped eating immediately as he elbow banged the top of the table in shock, and his face slowly turned red. The tableware next to him rattled at the impact. When it settled down, he spoke quietly without moving to face you directly. Yes? Nothing. Is something the matter? Poor boy. He blushed, a frown deepened.
That's...
Sophia, you should probably... Ko's voice trailed off quietly, and you got the impression that he was about to ask you to stop. But he didn't want you to. You kept your hand where it was for a little longer, giving his leg a gentle squeeze until he cleared his throat and leaned closer to you. You probably, shouldn't do that. Do that right now. Fine. It was a shame that it had to end, but you were content with how long he had let you keep your hand where it was. When you returned your hand to your own lap, Cove let out a little sigh of relief and continued eating. Though at a slower pace, he was still distracted from the event. Dinner eventually ended, and the last of all was dessert. A lemon sherbet that had been partially dyed blue, mixed with white and bold streaks of blue to made the little scoop look like a ball of roaring ocean waves. The effect was pretty and the serving size was small, but it was the price for artistry. You turned to Code to find him pouting a little at the size. Digging into the dessert, it only took him a few bites to polish it off. And again, the other people around the table were barely even beginning to eat. This boy is too hungry. An unoppressed air settled over him as he sat back in his seat, sipping on his water unhappily. You should appreciate what you got. You laughed at his moping. You're such a big baby. We can get more dessert later, or you cleared your throat. You gave him an encouraging smile. He looked up at you, sheepishly embarrassed that he had been caught sulking over a thing, and fumbled for defense.
I mean...
It was just really good, that's all, and now it's gone, but I'm okay. With a slight grin, he shrugged to show that he was really fine. Would you like a bite of mine? Do you want all of my dessert? Alright, go. He's not getting all of my dessert. He's getting a bite. You scooped up a spoon of your sherbet, offering it to him, holding a hand beneath it to avoid any drips. His eyes went wide as he eyed the dessert, hungrily surprised by the offer. Recovering quickly, he leaned over the table, lifting out of the chair a little bit as he ate the treat from your spoon. He sat back, humming happily with his mouth full, and you couldn't help but smile at the sight. Cove smiled the flux ocean and let out a satisfied sigh. Even though it wasn't much more, it was simply the fact that had gotten more hit the spot.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You thought back on the way he used be so terrified of sampling food that was yours, but now he hardly bats an eye. Yeah, it's all the training that we did when he was little. It was always a maze when you were struck by how he's grown and how much he had stayed the same. Another person from Orca got up on the stage to make speeches as everyone was nearing the end of their meal. They spoke mostly about the individual projects that the organization was working on and their plans for the near future, as well as encouraging anyone who was interested in volunteering. Ah, my nose. Cove bent forward over the table with his chin balancing on his hand, listening attentively to the words. As they came to a conclusion, everyone gave them a round of applause, and Cove caught your eye and smiled. You wondered what would happen now. And then the lights dimmed. A couple of spotlights came on, projecting a water-like effect around the room. The DJ had been previously playing some soft mood music in the background, announced the floor was open for dancing, slowly turning up the volume so it would drift through the space. You glanced over at Cove and his eyebrows shot up, and he muttered quickly.
Huh.
At least they put the effect on him. I didn't know there would be dancing. I guess it makes sense now that I think about it. He gave you an awkward laugh before you watched people as they rose from their seats. It was clear now how many donors were couples. A small crowd had started to form on the dance floor, and the DJ played a romantic song to get everyone started off. Cove let his gaze float over to the small sea of guests who were moving onto the floor, and his hands twisted into his lap as his lips pulled into a tight line. Screeching! And then, with a breath, he lifted his hand and turned to you.
Well,
wanna dance with me? Yes, boy! Of course I do. I was just thinking the same thing. I don't really want to dance. Of course I do. His face lifted up, and you could tell even beneath the dim light. Accepting Cove's outstretched hand, you rose from your seat together, stepping out onto the dance floor. When you had found a spot for yourself among the other guests, you turned to face him standing close. Cove gave you a small smile as you looked up to him, he seemed a little nervous. I don't know how to dance, not for real. He admitted with a slight squeeze of your hand and a sheepish look, and you gave him a reassuring grin and nudged a little closer to him still. It's okay, I know. Wow. With a familiar face full of affection. That was affection. Oh, I'm getting tired. He let go of you and raised his arms to the side of both of his hands behind your neck. Jeez. You wrapped your arm around him in response. Together, you gently swayed to the music, moving your feet in time with the delicate beat. It was nice just to be there like this, in each other's arms, and you didn't have to worry about whether you knew the right steps or not. There would always be a way to make it work between the two of you. Cove leaned his head near yours, his forehead so close to yours that they were almost touching. Saw that computer. His breath was warm as he let out a content sigh, tickling your skin. You really do look so good tonight. You are such a beautiful woman. Thank you. You smiled widely as you felt your cheeks hotter at the compliment. Did you have a nice time? I hope you did. Yes, I have. I came here with you, so yeah. I'm having a pretty bad time until right now. Or, well, I had worse nights, or you leaned in and kissed him. What? His eyes fluttered closed as your lips melted into a soft kiss. As much as I want to know what's going on, my emotes are loading. Oh my gosh. His eyes fluttered closed, met with a soft kiss, and when he pulled back, he smiled at you gently. His bright eyes stayed locked onto yours and studying you until an unmistakable adorage. Thank you for staying with me. You're still here, just like you promised you would be. Why does he look like what a weirdo? Leave my boy alone. Your heart felt light as you continued to sway. Yep, fuck it. Holding your most beloved person. Is so glad that you were able to share a moment like this with him. His smile suddenly tilted unexpectedly. You couldn't guess the thought crossed over his face. Hey, Sophia. Yes. Oh. His voice was a gentle whisper as he let you in on his small secret. You know, I like to complain about things that other people can stress me out, but
It's nice.
coming here with you tonight didn't make me feel bad, not even a little. Computer, can you work with me? Your lips parted at the words. Old memories rushed back to the surface of your mind, those of your very first formal party together, the summer of the soiree at the country club. In an instant, you were 13 years old again, sitting on a grassy hill in the dark golf course with your neighbor. It was an experience. Oops, shit. It was an experience that you never forget, where it felt as though there was no one in the world, where he made you feel like there was no one else in the world that he wanted to be more with. My internet's being weird again. Yeah. I think it's pretty much have given up, so... guys. That night was Ko trying so hard to enjoy with you, but had been plagued by his anxieties despite it all. And now, Ko, or I'm so glad, you began tearing up happily. It's probably the water theme of the party putting you at ease, or you were speechless. Sniffling quietly, you gave him a watery smile, fearing you would choke up more with the emotion if you tried to speak. Ko's hand caressed the back of your neck, making you feel truly treasured. Even though I still get like that sometimes when there are other stuff in our lives, it means too much. That means too much for me to deal with. Being with you, that's not one of those things, and you make it so easy to do. You make me happy, more than happy. When I'm with you, I feel safe. His voice wavered ever so slightly, and his feelings were getting the best of him.
I
want more than anything to be able to do that for you. He broke at the last. On the last words, tears glistening at the corner of his eyes. You already have. You wipe away the tears. You nodded quietly. I always be here with you. We promised to kiss this boy again. Boop. Closing the gap between you, you leaned in and pressed your lips to his. His lips moved to cup the back of your head as he kissed you deeply in return. Not the spooky. I probably fucked that up, but oh well. His hands... Oh, I did that. And then he pulled back slowly, his smile never leaving his face. A lot has happened, huh? You nodded faintly, and you weren't sure if he meant just today, or the summer, or your entire time that you have known each other. But it didn't really matter. It was true either way. Thinking back on the years that you and Cove have been neighbors, it was difficult to try to reflect on it all at once.
I'm so glad.
I'm glad we ended up here. He gave you a soft look and you beamed, knowing that it also could mean many things. But from his tone, you were certain that he didn't only mean here at this event. It was more than that. There's nowhere else I'd rather be, so am I. I think we'll have to tell your dad thanks. You're amazing, or couldn't even speak. You chuckled happily at the two of you and the long adventure you had. This would be funny. Thanks, Dad. Thanks. 18 DLC, 18 plus DLC. You can go get it yourself, Flamingo. I just want to see the reaction. Probably. Okay. You loved him. Full and completely, you did. Joke's on you, I can't read. Ha. His smile widened as you pressed his body against yours and you rested a hand into the crook of your neck, stroking the back of your head with his fingers. You tightened your grip on him, letting your head fall onto against his shoulders. The night drifted on, and you held each other, swaying to the music as if you were the only ones in the room. Cove was sweet the entire time. His warmth brushed against your skin as he whispered words of affection in your ear. He was extremely good at making you feel special, and you couldn't have hidden your blissful smile even if you wanted to. The party eventually started to wind down, and at last it came to an end. When the main lights turned on, you blinked against the brightness of them, making sure you still had Cove in your sights. One final speaker came to the podium of the stage, thanking all of the guests for coming and wishing everyone a good night. It was bittersweet to see it come to an end, and your time with Cove here was precious. At least the memories could have been brought with you. This just in, a cookie streamer laughs at chat. Oh no. Me getting canceled starts. Cancel. Bum 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 bum. Okay. I had to shut down my other computer. Giving space one more look, you walk together with Cove out of the parking lot. The other guests were doing the same, and so you got stuck in a bit of a crowd, though Cove was so tall that you could always see him, and it was easy enough not to get separated. The parking lot itself was quite big, even more noticeable now with fewer cars blocking the view. And it took a little while to actually locate Cove's car across its expanse. Eventually, you found it, and the two of you bundled inside the vehicle and buckled up. The trip home was quiet as you both silently reflected back on the experience. The event had been the biggest night of the year for Orca, and now it was over, just like that. Outside your window, the surrounding soon became familiar, and you found yourself back in your neighborhood. Cove pulled in the car into his driveway, putting it in park before letting it out a relieved breath. Home sweet home. Yeah. After climbing out of the car, you walked slowly down the road, Cove coming over to stand beside you. You stopped in the middle of the street, right between your house and his. Turning to him, finding him in the process of opening his mouth to speak. Okay. I gotta type in my password. Oop, okay. Strangely, he clamped his lips together. Sorry. As though he suddenly thought better of it. Boop. You also stayed silent. That was quite a night, Cove. Good night, Cove. Thank you for taking me tonight. Or this is kind of awkward. And then they went their separate ways. Thank you for tonight. Thank you for coming with me. You kissed him goodnight, you stepped in for a hug, you ruffled his hair playfully, you gave him a friendly nod, you patted him on the shoulder. Good job, buddy. Thank you. Or you waved goodbye. Needing to be close again before your night ended, you pressed your lips against him in a gentle kiss. He smiled as you separated, running his fingers over the side of your face.
Night.
I'm gonna let him finish that one. The thing is, like, there was a free DLC where they had, like, a bunch of names. Just not any of the ones that I would have used. With a last wistful smile, he left towards the front door, figuring you shouldn't linger in the street for much longer. You crossed the remainder of the road and did the same. When you reached your house, you pulled out your keys and stuck them in the door, trying your best to be silent as possible. Opening the door with a crack, you turned back to look at Cove over your shoulder. Your eyebrows lift in surprise to see him doing the same. holding his front door open, waiting for you to go inside before he did. You shared a look at amusement before you both stepped in your own house, unlocking the door behind you. It was quite late, so everyone else was already asleep. Quiet as a mouse, you tiptoed to your bedroom, changed out of your formal clothes into your pajamas. And now that you were finally home, you were exhausted. You brushed your teeth, got into bed in the darkness, and before crawling under the covers, you let out a heavy breath. It was strange to think... It was strange to think about how that was. The buildup of the event had felt like so much, now it was completely behind you. No way, I was joking. Where is he at? Your mind was busy with a rapid yet muddled thought as you faded closer and closer to sleep. As unconscious creeped up on you, you felt more content, and it was a big deal. But there would be more in the future. You could accept what it had been, and you could dream about what you would get to experience next. I knew it would be this one. And you were taken away from your dreams right back to reality by a sound. Your eyebrows pinched together, fully unprepared to be part of the waking world again. The day was over, and it had been an eventful one. But you heard another noise. It was tapping. Your eyes flew open the window. There was tapping that came from your window. Cove Holton. You slowly forced yourself to get up. You went over to let the guy in, or you rushed over to him. You excreted yourself from the bed. Yawning, you stretched your arms and then made your way over to the window. There was another tap right before you arrived, and when you pulled it wide open, Cove was indeed right there, making him wait for it. You had not been surprised to find Cove awkwardly crouching on your window ledge. However, you were taken back to see that he was a little overdressed, and Cove hadn't changed out of his formal clothes. You noticed he was perched clumsily, and you didn't know if it was because he was trying to keep his fancy clothes clean, or if he felt weird about something. His body was too stiff and awkward. Even given that Cove was normally all thumbs, he looked off balance significantly more than usual. Cove smiled sheepishly. Hi, Sophia. Hi. Cove, why are you here? How come you're dressed like that? Nice to see you, Romeo. Have you looked at a clock? It's too late for this, or you remain silent. Hi, Romeo. You moved across, letting him climb inside. He cautiously stepped down by stretching his legs over. Strangely, he didn't use his hands for support. It was clear to you now he was holding something. Oh, it's this. I know what this is. When he was safely on his feet, he briefly checked his clothes, twisting around to see the back of his pants. He caught you looking and shrugged.
I
did go home after the event, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to settle down, so I just walked back out. I needed fresh air and time away from everything. He paused for a moment, raising his clasped hands together where you could see them. But then something happened, and well, so I have something I want to show you. Cove grinned like a child and gently unfurled his fingers. But being able to keep you in suspense for a minute. Or not being able to. Carefully sitting inside was a tiny yellow light, flicking off and then on again, a firefly. Delicately, he moved his hand closer to you so you can see the creature better. They're back. Look at this boy! He closed his eyes and a smile faintly illuminated by the insect companion. I remember the first time I caught one. I always will. I barely managed anything because of that neon pink cast that I was stuck with all summer. You were still stunned by what had happened, but couldn't help but snickering when Cove did. It was thanks to you I was finally held a firefly in my own hand. I was happy to. When that happened, it's just really memorable for me. Honestly, I didn't think I'd see them this year. I don't know why, they were kind of late, and I guess I worried about a lot of stuff lately. You could tell that the firefly gently lifted his spirits, and he seemed at peace, and he wanted to share that with you. The fact that his first thought after discovering the firefly was to come over and celebrate the joy with you made you suddenly feel very cherished. Cove opened his eyes and he looked away, not meeting yours.
It's nice.
I think even if the fireflies disappear for a while, it doesn't mean that they're really gone, but they'll come back and I can see them again. You smile. Technically, fireflies aren't gone, they're just eggs and larvae. You waited for him to continue. Smile. No. Whee. Oh, knocked my headphone out. And you looked at the firefly keenly. There was definitely something poetic about them, and you felt warmth in your heart. No, connected. No. Did it? Cove looked at your face, and his smile was now fragile. It made me think about the two of us. We're together, and then we said goodbye. And we're together again now. Day after day, year after year. And even if our time apart gets longer, that doesn't make it forever. Sophia, I'll always be there whenever you want to see me. You were so in love with him that nothing else you could think then, and he needed to know. You were so happy to be with him that he needed to know that, or you quietly said his name. Your heart started to pound in your ears. All you could hear was the blood rushing. You looked at Cove and found yourself fixated. The only thing you were aware of was the rapid pulse in him. It was as if your entire relationship was played over in your mind, every step that you led you here. Everything that the very first night you'd met him just as a little kid, from the way he always held a special place in your heart, to the first time that you saw fireflies together, to the first time you snuck in your room, when there were other moments you shared, all of them came back to you. You look like he's going to really touch stuff. Cove's expression turned to curious. as you left him waiting wordlessly, and he tilted his head in a question. His lips started to part but you went first. I love you. I'm in love with you. I love you, Cove. Or love you so, so much. Boop. Why? You look shocked. With your confession, the world stopped for a second and Cove froze. Oh god, I made the boy cry. Look at him. And then, as if your words had turned a faucet, tears began to fall down Cove's cheeks. He silently mouthed something and you couldn't make out the words. This is where I hate you dies. I love you too. Cove? You stepped in closer and closer, removing the distance between the two of you. He covered his mouth with a hand. He must have forgotten about the firefly resting there as it flew off into the night with a twinkle. Oh god, he's crying. He used the other hand to shakily reach over and interlace his fingers in yours. He gripped you tightly as he started to sob harder. Like the kid. Oh my god. You cried with him, you wiped away his tears, you squeezed his hand back, or you smiled at him, or you chuckled affectionately. Pathetic! Oh my god, leave him alone! Gently, you took your free hand and wiped his tears away. I love you, Cove. Or, it's okay, Cove. It's okay, I promise. Or, I had a feeling it would...
leaves no puzzle unsolved.
Thank you so much for the follow, and welcome to the Shadow Realm. Hope you enjoy your stay as we... Well, I simp over this boy. Everyone else simps over the parents. Imagine crying over a girl's hand. My eyes. I had a feeling it would go like this. Can you tell me how you feel, or you weren't ready to speak? I'll continue. Yes. You would get along with Flamingo. Flamingo just wants all the moms. Plus Lizzie. Cove removed a hand from his mouth and used it to hold back the back of your head. What there be? And my fertilizer. Oh my gosh, Karo. He brought your face to him, bending his neck down to be closer to your level, and your foreheads brushed again. The Western Molly His voice trembled, it cracked and shook, and this raw straight from Crow's heart. I love you. He closed his eyes tightly, repeating himself, and now he could say it firmly. I love you. Sweet. I know. I have actually played Step 4 already. I'm waiting for the wedding DLC. But everyone else hasn't really seen it, so I can't wait. His aqua eyes sparkled when he opened them again. Fresh tears poured out as an outburst of emotion.
Sorry.
He doesn't cry at least once per step. It's not Cove, yes. Sophia, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't get it together. Oh my gosh, I did the same, and oh, I didn't realize you could do it in step 4. What broke my heart the most was step 2. But I tried to tell him as soon as step 1. Step 3 was fun. I didn't realize you could do it. I think it just broke my heart because it was like the teen and him just having to figure it out. Yeah. Until I get childhood, maybe teen. The rest doesn't matter. It's just, I tried so much to love you quietly, secretly, and that being it. But I really just wanted you to feel the same. I wanted you to love me back, and I wanted to hear you say it. Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to do step 4. It's gonna be weird because I can't remember which save file I didn't do it out of, so... I kept thinking, what if you didn't? Maybe if I felt it was too much and I didn't know how to handle that. I didn't know what to do, but I didn't want to put any of that on you either. You weren't doing something bad. Everything you do was right and wonderful. Do it again. He's...
I'm always like this.
It wasn't your fault. I just had to be like that. I'm just like that. He leaned in closer, hiding his face from view. His lips trailed over your ear, and he whispered, "But you love me. You love me." Okay, I'm gonna go. Alright, thank you for dropping by, and thank you for the follow. I hope you have a good rest of your night or day. Bye-bye. He moved his head back so his forehead was centered on yours, and then he closed his eyes and he shook. The hand as you held was trembling. I'm so sorry. I'm really always like this. You kissed him, you held him, or you gave him a moment. 2 more until affiliate, yeah. Keep looking at my other computer, but it's dead. You pulled him into you and kissed his lips, and he returned it desperately. Cove managed to bring a fragile smile onto his face, and he was still shaking, but there was something decided about him now.
I love you.
Aww. I think I was like crying during these moments. Sophia, I love you. He repeated it more as if to make up for all the time he didn't let himself say it before. As he spoke, the tears dried up and his breath became more even, and the reaffirmation helped him calm down. Thank you for telling me. Cove's smile was bolder even as his voice wavered, and he ducked his head with a childish shyness, and he clearly fought against getting emotional again. His watery eyes and his mused hair. The tears still dried on his cheek, and you loved him so much. I needed to tell you. You have always been lucky, haven't you? I'm so happy to have done it. You're welcome. It was only the truth. I love you. I wonder how lonely the person who made this as a kid. You smiled brightly at him. I need to tell you. Guys, the music changed. Karo, are you ready? Cove held the side of your face, but moved his thumb down to softly brush your lips, and it was exciting. Here we go. No normal wake ups in the morning. So let's begin. He wanted to keep touching you, and you wanted that too. Here it is. Okay, so we can kiss him on the lips, kiss him on the neck, kiss him all over his face. You run a hand through his hair, you pressed him against the wall, you moved your hands down his chest, you grabbed his butt, or you whispered his name. Do kiss the lower half, the wall. Only eyes. See, we only get a certain amount of these before the scene moves on. We'll start off small. You begin to pull Cove into a kiss, and he welcomes it. Both of his hands cradled your head gently, and he was full of sweetness for you. Eagerly, you took it. What an option you grabbed. It's just awkward. You only separate when you needed air. You huffed and getting oxygen back from your lungs while grinning at your boyfriend. Cove beamed at you and then kissed you back, a brief but solid stamp of his affection. Grab the butt. Slid your head down. I can't. You slid your hand down his back, skimming over the muscles underneath, and you could feel them tighten the lower you got. You paused at the base of his spine, fingers tapped with intent, but giving him time to voice disagreement with your course of the action, but he quietly murmured something. It's okay. I don't mind. I mean, it's not that. I just want you to. He couldn't muster the last word, but still feeling validated, you let your hand cup his butt and squeeze it. Allow me to break character and say TOS. Too bad. Cove took in a sharp breath. I love all the emotes that I can't see. Maybe I'll go back and watch this part so I could see them all. Sophia. His voice was laced with embarrassment and not dissatisfaction. Yep, I'm going with that. You moved your face over to his cheek and giving him a nice smooch. You smiled as you planted another on the tip of his nose and you kissed across his forehead. Moving on, you gently brushed your lips against his eyelids and then the corners of his mouth. I'm so glad my little brother's not here to hear me talking about this. He made a small pleased noise as he wrapped his arms around your lower back. As he pressed himself even closer against you. Pressing him against the wall. And then you stepped forward with purpose and you pressed your hands against his shoulder and you kept walking. His eyes widened, but he let you lead him, stepping back as prompted. Cove squeaked when he made contact with the wall. You stared up at into his flushed face. Cove's body was tense in such a position, but you knew with a complete certainty that it wasn't in a bad way, and you could feel one of his knees rub against the inside of your leg encouragingly. Oh. Okay, I'm all scared. He brought one of the hands to the nape of his neck while you ran another along his chest. His shirt wrinkled and neither of you cared. His body was firm to the touch. How far does this get? Is your ear long enough to heat it up and down your jawline, letting the warmth seep while you touched him? Also, do they actually show this in the 18 DLC? Oh, the 18 DLC goes way further. These actually aren't like, these will only go to kind of touching and kissing. There won't be any like clothes removal, but in the 18 plus, they full blown like will show and strip. So it goes way further than this. I forget when these they cut you off on these. I know, or I don't think you can choose all the options. You nuzzled up against him and you could hear his breath pick up, and you kissed along across the exposed part of his neck. He made a quick gasp at letting it out as a long sigh. While you were busying yourself over his neck, he reached down to stroke your thighs slowly. Okay, this is where it cuts off. Then Cove carefully rested his hands on your shoulder, looking away as he took a few deep breaths as he kept you there. But for my enjoyment, I can do this. I'll just do these two and then I'll go back. You stayed close to him and used one hand to comb through his hair as he leaned into your hand while your fingers got deeper into his strands. Cove tilted his head and brought his mouth to yours. Your lips delicately touched, too brief and slightly to be a true kiss, but enough to be exciting. The slight touches were because he was able to use his mouth to mutter something, although you couldn't make out any clear words. Okay. One more. He whispered his name. Cove. You said it hushed under a breath and then brought your lips to his ear and repeated yourself longingly. Cove. The shiver went through him as he gripped you tightly as he had to with the way his knees almost buckled. Okay. And then At least he ain't crying this time. Yeah. Okay, we're just gonna go through this one quickly. It took a few deep breaths as he kept you there. You could tell that he was as well worked up as he could manage for tonight, and that was all right. And you're feeling rather satisfied too. I wasn't when I first played this. I was like, no, I want to go further. You smiled a little bit and tried to slow your own racing heart. You couldn't help but think about how happy you were with him, how you wanted to spend your life with him, how you were certain you wanted to spend your life with him, and you told him as much. They made you pay for hanky-panky, it seems. Kind of. See, it was just touching. There was like no actual intercourse. Sad. I was a little sad. I hope we get to spend our lives together. And he starts to cry. At least our vampire game. Yes, it did. A lot of it. A little bit. At least one per route. Cove's expression crumbled again. He wasn't able to tamper down the newest wave of emotion. His eyes watered once more as he took a few deep, heavy breaths. I hope so too. We could be together always and have our place of our own. With kids, also pets, also a pet, and with just the two of us. Pets. And kids, I guess. But pets. His eyes widened at the picture you were painting. Cove seemed more than a little overwhelmed being a dad at the idea of it intimidated him. Are kids something you would ever be alright with? Cove wasn't able to find words. Instead, he squeezed his eyes shut and nodded. Responded? Resolute? Yep. Your heart lifted and he was anxious. But he wanted a family with you. You felt warm being able to talk about this openly. And you liked to imagine the life you could have together. And now that you could do it with him, he rubbed his scarred arm bashfully. You know, I thought having to grow up for real was going to be so hard. I didn't even know if I could. But well, maybe it won't be that impossible.
So...
I mean, I better make sure it's not, huh? I'm looking forward to it. Finally, he was able to laugh softly, and the tears were nothing but salty remnants on his cheek. He brightened up as if finally able to process the absolute joy of tonight in full. You felt good too, and it took a little bit more time together to simply exist in the new dynamic you stepped into. My eyes are going. This is the whole reason why I'm reading slower. Cove looked into your eyes with a soft, slight shy expression, and there was hope in his eye and smile. Do you want, oh my god, this isn't over. Do you want to go to the hill with me? I bet there's still some fireflies. Yeah, let's go. You nodded yes, or you shook your head no. Maybe another night. It's too late. I'm tired. I feel the last one. But let's go. Yes. This boy will be the death of me. Cove brightened, and he was basically bouncing as the thought of the secret excursion before he suddenly became bashful. So how should we leave? We could try the door. We don't have to do the window thing. Maybe that would bother your family? You both chuckled at how awkward it would be if your mom or Liz saw you going on a midnight firefly catch trip, and you were sure to avoid that. But you wanted to use the front door. You could leave through your window. We're going out the window. Yeet. Let's go through the window. Cove nodded in understanding, and you grabbed some shoes, readying yourself for the adventure. You were glad that there was no way you'd run into another soul outside. Cove would be way overdressed, and you were still in your jammies. You let Cove go first. He stepped out on the ledge as you carefully followed. He shuffled along, and soon you reached the garage, and you planned to use the fence to reach from the ground there. Yeah, not the part where the boy just came into rooms. They're worried about the fireflies. They still don't know that he climbs in through the window after all these years. I can tell you this much. None of them know. Cove shakingly climbed down to the fence and held it on tightly with a death grip. He hesitated for a moment and then let himself fall to the ground. He leaned against the fence and projected a hushed word up to you where you were waiting.
Are you okay?
Do you want some help? You nodded yes, or you shook your head no. You got to the edge, and Cove spotted your descent, and he grabbed you about halfway down and brought you to rest firmly on the ground. Cove gave you an encouraging smile, but neither of you risked speaking yet. You briskly snuck behind the house and up the old white poppy hill. Cove was right. The entire hill was lit up, insects twinkling here and there with their pale yellow light. Cove let out a content sigh and finally was able to relax in full as he strolled further up the hill to enjoy the view. You walked along as well, letting yourself be surrounded by the twinkling display. And then, without warning, Cove plopped onto his back, paying no mind to smacking his formal attire in the grass. He put an arm under his head as he stretched the rest of his limbs out. He was clearly getting quite comfortable in the dirt there. Also, Karo, I can't believe you gave up character when you've been lost. You kept standing, you sat down, or you lay down in the grass. In the grass. You sat down first and then fell back. You could see the stars where you were looking up in the night sky. Then you snuggled against Cove, or you wrapped your arm around Cove, or you enjoyed your space. He was warm in contrast to the chilly ground. Cove cuddled closer in turn, tucking his arm up near your shoulders. I wonder if Dad will be mad about the grass stains. I think you're wearing a darker color, so I think they're not too bad. He tugged at the collar of his shirt. He didn't sound concerned, just idly curious. Maybe you should figure out how to clean it before he finds out. His smile bent a little and it went silent between you. The sound was... The only sound were the rustling of the bugs in the breeze, and far away the crashing waves on the sea. If you were to take it off, you couldn't help but reflect on what happened only a brief time earlier between this and your room. It felt like a different world. Was this real, what happened between the two? You could almost be convinced it wasn't. And when you never actually stopped dreaming. You stole a glance at Cove and he caught you blushing and reddened at reassuring you. Cove remembered same as you, and what had was real. My reading comprehension skills are out the fucking window. You continued to watch fireflies. You wanted to catch some fireflies. You asked Cove if he wanted to catch some fireflies. You challenged him in a roll down race down the hill, or you asked Cove to dance with you. I don't know. Actually, I don't remember which one I did. See, this would be fun. Let's do a roll down race. Up for a race? See who can roll down the hill faster? Cove chuckled and crossed his knees casually. How would we even tell who won? We're both rolling. We could just shout it, or we could do a quick check on another as soon as we reach the bottom. He tilted his head towards you and uncrossed his legs. Well, I'm already in the position. Let's do it. Yes. With a smile, you wondered if he had a disadvantage in his formal wear, and then again, it wasn't like pajamas were made for rolling either. These pajamas were made for rolling, and that's what they will do. Gonna roll all over this grass. And even though you were already on the ground, you twisted the way you were settled to be more prepared. And then you stared at each other down, and it was almost time. This was serious business. Right. You know the rules on a count of 3. Nodding, you tucked your limbs in tight, preparing yourself. 1, 2, 3. Go! You hurled your body sideways, and you could only imagine what Cope was doing the same. You rolled and rolled, and then the hill was suddenly over, and it felt like a much shorter trip than it used to. You stuck your dizzy head into the air and locked eyes with Cove. He was down there already as well. The both of you were breathing heavy, and satisfied expressions creeped onto your face. I made it down first. You won. It looks like we tied. Did you see who won? I didn't. Cove looked amused and unsuccessfully hid a laugh behind the hand. No, that was a tie. Cove dropped back onto his side and then rolled the rest of the way over to you. Upon arrival, he reached down and pulled you into a embrace. You couldn't stop yourself from laughing and relaxing into a hug. The hour grew late and the fireflies mostly disappeared until a few stragglers remained, even if they were blinking out of sight, leaving you alone with Cove in your thoughts. Cove stole a second to release the words that had been filled his head during the quiet. I love you, Sophia. You felt a great deal of happiness. Cove's expression was completely open and honest, and full of sincerity. He meant every word, and he truly loved you. No matter how much it didn't seem real yet it was. It felt as though this night, though it was a night that would never end, but you knew it would have to, all too soon, and you were grateful to be all part of it. These were moments to truly treasure, and you never let yourself forget them. Hey, we finally finished! I'm going to bed! Save! How do you? Yeah, we're not rating anyone because my other computer decided to die on me. So I'm gonna end it here. But thank you all for coming out. And we finally got to see the one scene that everyone's been waiting for. And there should be, I believe, one more scene kind of like it. We'll see. Wait, do you guys see what these emotes are coming out to? They don't even show the emotes. Oh my god. Oh, I didn't even know. I thought they would automatically just appear. So you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. I'm seeing absolutely no emotes. They're just those things. It possibly could, but the thing is, they do that when I'm watching other people's streams too. So, like, I have absolute no idea. Like, I would end up having to click them multiple times until the thing would finally load, but then my internet now just won't allow it. Well, I guess it would just be a mystery. Unless, like, I boot up chat or whatever and watch it through then. But, oh well. Well, I'm gonna end this. So, thank you all for coming out. Hope you all have a good night, day, wherever. Just watch it through Twitch to find out. Yeah. I don't know why the moderator thing's showing up on the thing when I can see it, so. Oh well. Well, alright. Bye-bye.